second day of our trip in the French Riviera. Today we go to Nice, and the day begins with the visit of the Orthodox Church of the city, the Cathedral Saint-Nicolas of Nice. It's a Russian Orthodox religious building, which is one of the most important outside Russia. Since 1987, it has been listed as a historical monument and has been awarded the label of 20th Century Heritage. The cathedral is located in the center of the city. Its construction began in 1903 due to the importance of the Russian community in Nice. We walk a few streets, and not far from there, we come across the Basilica of Our Lady of the Assumption. The basilica was built between 1864 and 1879. It's the largest church in Nice. In neo-Gothic style, it's inspired by the cathedrals of Paris and Angers. Unfortunately, we won't be able to visit it because it's under renovation. We continue our walk in the direction of the Place Masséna. Recognizable by its red facade, its sun fountain and its black and white paving, the Place Masséna is the meeting point of the Côte d'Azur inhabitants in the center of Nice. In the center stands 7-meter-high marble statue of Apollo, and it's decorated with 5 bronze statues sculpted by Alfred Janot. They all represent characters from Greco-Roman mythology: Earth, Mars, Venus, Mercury and Saturn. The Sun Fountain was inaugurated in 1956. It has gradually become a heart of the city, ideally located between Old Nice and Avenue Jean Médecin and near the famous Promenade des Anglais. We now walk in the Old City, where we stop in a bakery to have a good sandwich. After this stop, we continue our walk in the Old City and discover pretty colored streets, which reminds of the atmosphere of Italy. The history of Nice is essentially characterized by 2 elements. First of all, it's a border city, which, without counting the periods of foreign occupation, has changed sovereignty 3 times. Thus, it was successfully Ligurian, Greek, Roman, Italian, Genoese, Provençal, Savoyard, Piemontese, Sardinian, and with an annexation under the French Revolution from 1793 to 1814, it finally became French. And secondly, it's a city whose expansion accelerated sharply during the 20th century, mainly due to the development of tourism on the French Riviera at the same time. These 2 particularities have had important consequences on the social, political, economic, cultural, and even urban planning levels. With 350,000 inhabitants, this is the 5th largest city in France, behind Paris, Marseille, Lyon, and Toulouse. We are now heading towards the park of the Castle Hill, and the path takes us next to the Castle Cemetery and the Jewish Cemetery. Few stairs to climb to the park, and we arrive on the terrace of Niche, from which we can admire the well-known panorama of the city of Nice. We discover the artificial waterfall of Casteux. Climbing the stairs on the side of the rock, we arrive on a magnificent point of view on the Bay of the Angels. The hill of Nice Castle has known its first occupation since the Neolithic period around 3000 BC. Today, it's still a central element in the life of the people of Nice. The archaeological site of the Castle Hill is composed of a cathedral, a cemetery, a building considered to be a cluster of the canons, and a quadrangular building. Important historical monument, the Belanda Tower is the place where Nice residents and vacationers love to go to discover one of the most beautiful views of the entire city of Nice and the iconic Bay of Angels. It's a place that was dedicated to the defense of the city. We arrive now on the Robacapeux Quay, where we discover the famous I Love Nice sign, in front of which many people take pictures. We are now on the Promenade des Anglais and discover small alleys that lead us to the magnificent building of the prefecture. We go back to the Promenade des Anglais to discover the Opera Theatre of Nice. End of the visit. We return to our car to go to Villefranche-sur-Mer. We could have gone there by walking along the coast, but tired, we prefer to go there by car and continue our walk on the Promenade des Anglais. Arrived, we stop to have a drink at the seaside. It's a small town of 5,000 inhabitants, full of charm. The city was ceded to France at the same time as its neighbor Nice in 1860. After the drinks, we start our walk in the old city. The harbor of the city is frequented since antiquity by Greek and Roman sailors and was victim of frequent barbarian attacks. In the 9th century, the Saracens pirates had a fortress there and the inhabitants abandoned the seaside to take refuge in the hills. At the end of the 18th century, the harbor also sheltered the Russian Imperial Navy during their conflicts with Turkey and became essential to them during the Crimean War in 1856. The Villefranche harbor became a popular vacation spot for the Russian and English aristocracy in 1816. After the Second World War, it became the home of the United States Sixth Fleet, which was part of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization from 1945 to 1966.
King and a fool, and they were alright with me. And I'd give them all for crumbling, and that's alright with me.
We arrive at the Citadel, which was bought by the city council in 1965. For the record, in 1543, war broke out on the shore and the 110 Barbarossa's galleys accosted in Villefranche, burning and devastating everything on the path. The Citadel of Villefranche-sur-Mer was built in 1554 to protect itself from attacks.
It's alright with me.
We end our visit with the Citadel of the city and then return to Nice, where we stop for a few moments in front of the monument to the dead of Robacapeux that commemorates the war heroes of Nice who died in World War I. Brief stop in front of the famous sign I Love Nice, still appreciated by the tourist, to admire the magnificent sunset. We finally take the road again in direction of our apartment to have a dinner and rest before starting our third day of visit. See you tomorrow.